And so, beloved masters, greetings on this evening. The topic for the evening is living in two worlds from the inside out. And we've spoken of this in other times, but it's a subject that covers so much territory about the new understanding of allowing yourself to really feel deep inside of you what is going on. Feel you in your own skin. Get familiar with what your energy feels like inside of you. Because, as we've commented on many times, humanity has lived literally from the outside in. So it's almost as though you have watched yourself moving through life and you've experienced things from an outer perspective, a bit like you were watching a movie instead of being in the movie. So now, coming home to yourself and living, yes, inside and outside, but feeling that inner connection so clearly, so powerfully, that you really experience you having the experience. You experience your feelings about it rather than perhaps experiencing other people and what they are thinking about what you're doing or what you're saying or how you look. Be inside of yourself and feel you feeling you. Feel your judgment, your criticisms, the things that you habitually may think when you look in the mirror, or you may offhandedly describe yourself in some very unflattering or uncomplimentary way and think nothing of it. Oh, that's nothing. If it condemns you, it's most assuredly something. If it wounds you, then it bears a great deal of consideration to forgive yourself for entertaining that kind of offensive considerations of you. You may notice when other people are critical, but do you notice when you are critical? So here I'm going to put in an aside for those that may have observed the moon ritual from the full moon in Pisces. Toward the very end, I did a very convoluted, rambling not quite clear, as though I couldn't figure out what was going on, description of a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. And so, just so that you know, I really do know what I'm talking about, because I did this to see if you were listening. I did it to see if you are paying attention. I've had people say, well, I didn't understand it, so I just didn't listen to that, which is just as well. But the lesson is that the logical mind is speaking very much in the same way, and yet people are hanging on the word of those in authority who give long, convoluted, misunderstandable speeches. So, for your information, a solar eclipse is when the sun passes, or when the earth passes between the sun and moon, and the moon is caught in the earth's shadow as the sun shines behind the earth. A lunar eclipse is when the moon passes between the earth and the sun, and it creates a blotting out, even though the moon is quite a bit different from the earth. It is the moon blocks the sunlight. So what you may get in a lunar eclipse may be a dark center with a corona. And potentially the same thing can happen in a solar eclipse if they're partial. So just an aside for those who may be scratching their head over what the master meant, because that's going on all over the earth. People are talking, and a lot of times they're highly educated people, they're people with degrees, they're people that have a background in the subject matter they're speaking on. And yet they may seem to wander or not be terribly clear about what they're speaking about. Because, beloved masters, humanity is translating from the old order of the logical mind into a whole new, well-defined, much clearer, actually easier to understand way of communicating, which you may find as time passes gives you less and less words and more feelings, sharing with others from your solar plexus more than from your logical mind. Sharing two worlds and getting more and more comfortable with yourself, moving forward into the unknown, into that unknown value that we call the other. And yet, as you connect to it within yourself, it begins to open up. It begins to expand. You begin to see, feel amazing things, beings that have always been there, but you didn't know that. Creatures of the other. And the logical mind has presented the idea that as you're translating from the physical world into a higher vibrational frequency, it's all going to be fairies and rainbows and sweetness and light. And yet you have spent lifetimes as a warrior that has focused on practicality. So, dearly beloved masters, the logical, practical mind has, throughout time, narrowed things down till it's almost as though humanity is looking at life through a pinhole. And now that pinhole is going to expand. Your inner vision is going to be so much clearer. It is, you may feel larger in your own body. You may feel bigger. Yet, if you go and look in the mirror, you still look like you did, and yet you feel like more. And it isn't, dearly beloved masters, that you require to reduce the size of your physical body as much as it is that you require to adapt, accept how much bigger the energy body of the divine is. And so to feel not only for the physical aspect, but to feel for that connection to the divine center within you. Feel it. Don't think at it or about it, but dearly beloved masters, feel into it. Feel through the portal in the soul center, in the area of the solar plexus. Feel through that portal, which opens up into a whole new, vast, amazing space that may, in many ways, resemble places on Earth where you have been, and yet, in many others, it will look and feel more, yes, like a fairy tale. And yet, those beings that abide in the other look at life differently. They have a different perspective on things. Their consciousness, in many ways, is what at first look logic might call cruel. And yet, logic doesn't pay attention to what it's creating. And right now, on the planet, there is a great deal of cruelty that is being perpetrated, and the mindset is they deserve to die. They deserve to be punished. They deserved to lose everything. And that mindset in the logical outer world has created a tremendous amount of karmic interaction in these times. The necessity to forgive, the necessity to let go of what do I do about them? How do I stop them? How can I change them? And in that connection to the inner space, ask spirit, converse with spirit, talk to spirit like you would a friend. Spirit, help me to really feel into who I am and what I am becoming. And if you feel a desire to focus on being a good person, then, beloved masters within yourself, focus on your soul center and feeling good to you. Feeling peaceful with you. Feeling satisfied with you. And even asking Spirit to help you identify some of these feelings so that you have an idea of what that experience is about. Now you're moving out of the physical world, so it isn't so much about what you may do about a situation as it is what you will allow in a situation. Would you allow yourself to be well treated? And as you do, how does it feel? Is it familiar? Or is allowing yourself to be well treated something you haven't experienced in a long time? And you may have just taken it for granted, accepted that's just the way it is. But it is that as you experience feeling good about you in you, and you have some idea, I feel good about me because I've let go of a lot of old, heavy painful, judgmental ideas. I've just let them go. I feel them attempting to come back, but I don't let them. When that nudge of the ego mind, that logical, practical definition of things, attempts to push in and push you away from feeling good about you, you wrap that energy up in violet flame because the violet fire transmutes that energy that is pushing against you and trying to bring you back to the old ways. And in that violet flame transformation, you find you have more energy because the violet flame takes the old heavy negativity that weighed you down and translates it into new, invigorating, revivifying, enlightening, uplifting energy. And you didn't have to do anything. It wasn't hard work. It was just really feeling into how it is to be a co-creator with the divine. I can turn my life over to spirit. I'm not giving up and I'm not losing. I'm actually opening myself to new inspiration, opening myself to new levels of awareness and understanding so that life doesn't feel so heavy. So life isn't so cumbersome. So life feels as though there is indeed a renewal process going on inside. You're not going to feel it in your left brain. What you may feel in your left brain, in the left side of your head, is a headache because logic is pushing harder, trying more, attempting to be as devious as it possibly can to trick you back into living the old ways. But where you may feel the positive, powerful, invigorating, inspiring energy is in your core, in your heart, in your soul, in your solar plexus, even in your splenic chakra, the area around the navel. Because, dearly beloved masters, that is a specific area in the physical form that is very receptive to imagining that you have a little hook that's hooked right under your navel. And hooked to that or connected to that hook is a golden thread. And that golden thread, as you visualize, it pulls up, and you may actually find you're sitting straighter, you're standing taller, you're breathing better because you're allowing divine essence through that golden line with the little hook that comes into the body, just at the bottom of that vast portal to the inner world. You are not going to stop thinking. You are not going to cease to have reason. You are not going to quit using your intellect. It's a very important part of imagining, manifesting, but it is, dearly beloved masters, from the inside, you will begin to feel yourself using your intellectual mind in a much kinder, gentler way. It's not about fighting off negativity. It's about inviting, embracing, integrating into yourself the positive energy of the divine. Humanity was created to be kind. Humanity was created to share. And yet, over thousands of years, the logical mind has just nudged the thinking processes of humanity a little further and a little further and a little further away from positive thinking. So when you first began to think positive, you may find that it does literally feel like you're in a battle with your ego. But when you call on spirit and allow spirit to show you how to be positive, how to feel positive, how to think positive, which really doesn't necessarily come from the logical mind, because the logical mind is outer focused on stopping everyone from doing the bad things they're doing. And dearly beloved masters, spirit shows you how to keep yourself in such a positive frame of mind, understanding, willingness, allowing, that you feel positive when you look even at negative situations. You feel better about yourself because you absolutely refuse to allow the logical mind to have a sit-down conversation about all the things that are wrong with you. It isn't that you'll be alone. Spirit will be there. It isn't that anything dire is going to happen to the logical mind. It's simply going to be encouraged to give you support, assistance, to overcome the things that it's taught you for so many thousands of years. So it isn't going to happen in the blink of an eye. It isn't going to happen because I said I'm not going to do that anymore because the true power of being aligned with spirit is faith and trust and really being patient with yourself. Well, I should be changing faster than this. I mean, after all this work I'm doing, I should be really way ahead of the game. If you're working, that's probably why you're not out ahead of the game, because the integration with the other, with the spirit world, isn't about trying, doing, or working. Let it go and allow spirit to show you how to be you, how to be. Feel it in your heart, feel it in your soul, feel it in your splenic chakra, how to be rich. Not thinking of all the reasons why you can't, but with great patience and determination, focusing on all the ways that you can prosper, that you can be happy, that you can change. Because logic will tell you that you need to be different, but it will still encourage you to hang on to the old ways. So changing is a process, day by day, moment by moment, but it may go on for quite a while. For making these changes isn't about force. It is about freedom. Freedom. Logic doesn't talk a lot about freedom because that's a really scary subject with logic. If you get free, then you're out of control. And if you're out of control, then logic has no reason to be. But it's a God-created part of you. And since it belongs as a part of you, as you allow yourself to discover how to be free with the joy of living, with the joy of prospering, with the joy of being you. Yes, you'll change. Everything is. But it's not a change under criticism because there's something terribly wrong with you. It's a change because the way you've looked at yourself before didn't allow you room to expand. And spirit will show you, help you feel how it feels to expand, to take in all that is yours, your divine inheritance, and not have to have a feeling of fighting off others to keep them from taking what is yours, because, beloved masters, they have a divine inheritance also. And there is plenty for everyone. Plenty. A beautiful word, plenty. It brings to mind a bountiful table. It brings to mind a beautiful place of living. It brings to mind the ability, when you desire, to be able to bring into your life the things that you would like to have. But it is not the frivolous, anything I want, I can have type of nature that logic encourages, which can create carelessness and then the fear of not enough. In that connection to the divine within you that you can feel, and as you progress, you can see it, hear it, but it's so different from the outer world because so much of it is pure energy. You can envision that you have a cashmere sweater, and you may find yourself feeling, you may even find in the physical world, you are putting on a cashmere sweater. But when the creative energy comes from within, from the divine realms, then, dearly beloved masters, it's yours. In the outer world, you may hang your cashmere sweater in the closet, and the next time you go to find it, you notice your sister's wearing it. That's my sweater. Well, I know, but I knew you wouldn't mind that I'm wearing your cashmere sweater. And such are the subtleties of war games about everything in the physical world. And logic, which is holding forth that what is going on in the physical world is logical, is losing ground because it really doesn't take a mathematician to look at what's going on in the physical world and see that if you keep taking things away from the people, and then you keep raising taxes on what they would buy, but they don't have the money because their job has been taken away. They don't have the money because whatever they do as a living has been deemed as unnecessary, but there has been no consideration of looking to higher resources, finding ways for people to prosper no matter what. So there dearly beloved masters, is your cue, your key into the other. I, with the blessing of spirit, get to give myself permission to live well. And logic says, how? You don't have this, you don't have that, you can't do this, you can't do that. But beyond that, in the places where you image what you desire and you feel in your solar plexus the flow, maybe a little bit of a push, but not hard. The flow of allowing yourself to live well. Logic keeps saying, where is it going to come from? And spirit says, let me show you. Here's what you focus on. Here's where you look. Study what you desire. Get clear about what you really are looking for. What do you desire your life to be? Well, I want a good life. That, as logic would definitely say, is entirely too general. But the truth is, wanting a good life is really a powerful consideration as you begin to allow yourself to open up to letting that abundance, that fulfillment flow into you. And make an effort to find within yourself the judgments that have kept you from being rich up to this moment. Well, I was told that God wouldn't like it if I'm rich. I was told that being rich is not a good thing. I was told, how do you feel? Well, I don't know what to feel because what I feel like I could live doesn't agree with all the logical limits I've been taught for lifetimes. Choices. The choice is you keep focusing on the limit and wishing you had more, or you choose to allow Spirit to show you the way and you go along, not blindly walking into danger or some trap, but side by side with Spirit in a companionable way as Spirit talks to you about how to use your energy to live an abundant life, a prosperous life, and to look at the tests not as something done to you, but something provided for you. Because so much of humanity lives with the mindset of, look what life did to me. Look what they did to me. Why did God do this to me? And the logical mind encourages that. But dearly beloved masters, Spirit says these tests are to hone your ability to pay attention. They are to show you how to be stronger. They are actually these tests that logic says are punishment, in most instances, are a gift. And we would have to say a gift in disguise because you've been taught for so long that when you have a test, when you are required to learn a lesson, I don't want to. I don't have time right now. I'll get back to it. And now, as you are evolving into higher energy, the tests are coming and they are, you might say, staying with you. Get this test. It's important. Feel this understanding. There's no pressure. There's no rush except for your belief. But it is that you can take as long as you desire to learn the lesson. But you are indeed required to learn the lesson. So what is happening on the earth? There's more and more destruction to the educational system that so many teachers are not allowed to teach, or perhaps their position was considered unimportant and it was canceled, taken away. There's no place. So desiring to learn, really desiring in your deepest soul to learn, to know more, to understand, not why, but to understand that the situation is yours. Feel into it. And logic will be there whispering, you really don't want to do this. You really don't like this. You don't like to feel that way. You don't need to feel bad. So logic turns you around to look back out into the outer world where, oh, you felt bad most of the time there. And even that's a lesson for you to return yourself to the connection with the divine in your sacred space so that you, dearly beloved masters, beloved teachers, beloved magicians, beloved creators of all kinds, all manner of artistry, dealing with nature, loving animals, loving children. And that love that comes from you, from your own resources, provided, yes, by spirit. That love is exactly what the world is missing. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing there's too little of. We don't need another mountain. Now, you may get a few because the earth is changing and there may be mountains falling under the ocean and mountains appearing. We don't need another valley. We don't need that. We require love. And love is the foundational ingredient of all creative resources. Love is the first ingredient that goes into the cup, the bowl, the barrel. Love. So as you focus on feeling more love in your life, and it may feel so good, it may feel so sweet that you have embarrassing feelings, feelings that you've told you shouldn't have. Your heart may open. You may even feel sexual. But dearly beloved masters, the sexuality of the human nature is as natural as life itself. It's the love and the choices that make it something to really enjoy and experience rather than something to turn away from, to hide, to be embarrassed. And so the things in your life that you find through spirit that you genuinely love, and yet the world has impressed upon you that that isn't love, or that's the wrong way to love, or people won't like you or accept you if that's how you love. But love is unconditional, and spirit is unconditional, where logic has so many rules and regulations and conditions to fill volumes with what you should do and what you can't do. When as you connect deeper within yourself, you find the magnificent, expanded, utterly simple, even though it's beyond human comprehension, the way to love and be loved, to share without taking, to give without refusing to receive. Because sharing is giving and receiving. It's a balance. It isn't I give, but oh no, I can't take anything back. No, 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 no. I I'm too good of a person to let you help me. The denial of allowing someone else to fulfill their desire to share, to give, to love, accept their gifts. For if you love to give, so do they. If you enjoy receiving, then don't stop yourself when someone gives you a gift. Spirit will make sure that you know the difference between a gift and something that has strings attached. And you'll begin to feel in your solar plexus, they're giving me a gift, but oh my, look at all these strings that are attached to this gift. So you accept the gift, you cut off the strings, and you toss them in the trash. And if someone says, didn't you see those strings that I gave you with the gift? And you say, yes, I did, in fact. And so I thought they were part of the wrapping, and I just tossed them. So the strings that were attached to your gift are no longer available. To receive without guilt, to give without keeping a tally. That's the way of spirit. Because in the world, people are keeping a tally, whether it's in a book or in their mind, of what I've done for you. And so periodically, they may drag out the invisible tally book, set the ledger down on the table with such a thump that you think to yourself, I didn't think I owed you that much. Debit and owe is perhaps one of the most deadly games that logic has created. You owe me. How? How can you? When everything that you've got was given to you by the divine. So how can they say you owe them? Well, I did something for you, and now you must do something for me. And the frustration in that is that a lot of times the one you pick to owe you doesn't have the ideas and understanding to provide what you're looking for. It is like going and telling someone who is a magnificent artist that they've got out to get over there and dig out the basement to build a large building. And they don't know how, because that's not their forte. And yet the illogical logic says, I don't care if you know how or not. I did something for you, and this is what I want you to do for me. And all of that, all of that, dearly beloved masters, is breaking apart. All of that is passing away. What seems so terrifying out in the world is the fight that the logical mind is putting up to keep things the way they were. But feel it deep inside you. You are changing. And it's beautiful. And it's amazing. And so many old things that you have unconsciously carried begin to come clear. I don't have to carry that anymore. That can't go where I'm going. That is no longer mine to carry. Spirit releases so many burdens that logic insists that you must carry. So letting go, learning to let go, enlightenment. No comparison against others because whatever they're dealing with, whatever they're letting go, it may seem somewhat like what you are experiencing, but it is, dearly beloved Master, it may also seem totally foreign to you. What can I do to help you? Just support me in the changes. You can't do it for me. You can't take it away from me. So just support me in love. Hold good intentions. Put me in your prayers. And then we can grow together. Are you paying attention? You are balancing, you are getting accustomed to living in two worlds that are connected but not alike. And the more that you allow yourself to accommodate yourself in the spiritual world, the less the grip of the outer world holds you back, keeps you tethered, makes you believe you can't, whatever you desire. It's changing. Change with it and be amazed. And so, dearly beloved masters, in the greatest of love, we are with each one, no matter what you believe or disbelieve, no matter what you're willing to accept or how much you are trying to reject. We're there. We love you. We care. Care for yourself. I bid you adieu.